welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. On our channel, you can find podcasts, interviews, and content on a whole host of subjects: football, mental health, films, TV, conspiracy theories, writing, wrestling, serial killers, music, and more. Today's show, we're going to talk some wrestling, and in particular WWE Hell in a Cell, but also some AEW and NXT. It was an interesting show, very interesting indeed, but I'm super hyped to talk about it anyway. I apologize in advance if I drop any swear words or curses, because I got a feeling there may be some. To join me and work through the show, I have one of my favorite people, as always, to talk wrestling. You'll find him featured on Post Wrestling, whether it's writing or interviewing names from the wrestling world. Joining me today is Mr. Andrew Thompson. Welcome, buddy.
It's good to be back per usual, man. Good to talk to Graps with my man Sai. So let's get into it. Hell in a Cell and AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Pro Wrestling coming up next week. And it's a lot of stuff, man. NXT and in the NWA tomorrow debuting on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
that's gonna be cool. And it's only 1 hour. It's only 1 hour. It's only 1 hour.
Like that. I like 1 hour. What a time to be a wrestling fan, mate. It's unbelievable. Like last week was just incredible. Like even if you don't take into consideration whether you thought Raw was good or SmackDown was good or whatever, just having those big shows like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the pay-per-view Sunday, just incredible.
Definitely. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be involved in wrestling media. It's like it's a lot of stuff going on, man, and a lot of people to talk to. It's interesting and it's fun to watch. Like if you just enjoy it. But
it must be cool though, because like there's so many companies on TV and all these new ventures and stuff. There must be like wrestlers and people from companies who want to speak to you guys at Post Wrestling and yourself, because they want to talk about their product. They want to get people watching their products. You got any NWA guys coming on, or had any? And have you recorded any with them?
NWA guys, Allison Kay, the NWA World Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Interview her. I can't think about off the top right now, but I'm excited for NWA Power tomorrow. Like that's like a nice little sidebar to everything that's mainstream right now. Like, and it's it's easily accessible. You just go on YouTube or their one of their streaming services, like or any streaming service, and watch their product. It's 1 hour every Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure from the spoilers that I saw, the content is gonna be good. It's gonna be a throwback feel. So I'm actually excited for that. Like, I don't know why. Like, I like of course I like the mainstream stuff, but it's like seeing the NWA, come back into resurgence and just, doing what they do. It's always good to see more promotions out there. And then we got NXT UK on Thursday, so every day of the week is filled basically, except for the weekends. But you got pay-per-views, so that's a lot of stuff to watch, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about NWA. I saw the pictures. I think so. It's like a throwback 70s and 80s NWA in and I just think it looks wicked. Really looking forward to it. And I watch MLW on YouTube a lot because
oh my goodness, I forgot about MLW.
It's on YouTube, and I find it really entertaining. MLW, like they've kept me. I watched it once, like just as a I'll check it out kind of thing, and I've watched it pretty much every episode ever since. I've missed a couple, but generally I watch it all the time because I just really enjoy it. It's entertaining. It's an hour, so it's not like taking up your whole evening, and it's good. It's good. So let's talk Hell in a Cell first, and then we'll go to the other stuff. Then after that, what were your overall thoughts of Hell in a Cell, mate?
I think the show peaked at the beginning. and then it slowly went down like after. I mean, it wasn't a bad, like, don't get me wrong, like I don't like to call stuff bad like when it wasn't like that bad, like overreacting type bad. Like the show started off really hot, like that Sasha and Becky match, that was a real good Hell in a Cell match. I enjoyed that match. That was the match of the night for me for sure. And then Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, they put on a real nice match with Rowan and Harper, which was expected because there was like 4 talented guys in the ring. And I felt like Rowan really got to show out during that match of what he
Yeah.
can do, because he's always been like the background guy, and everybody knows how much of a beast Luke Harper is. So that was just furthermore spotlight on him, and then for them to be able to put on that uh, classic heels versus babyface match with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, and the crowd was going crazy for Daniel Bryan. And I know people really expected Daniel Bryan to turn. I was kind of expecting it, but you can't complain about Daniel Bryan. Dude's legit one of the best in the world. And then from there, the show kind of just it didn't go all the way down, but it just show started off really hot and then just slowly cruised down a little bit. It went to autopilot. That's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it.
I think what was frustrating for me is that where they only announced, I think, like 3 or 4 matches until the day of the show. And what frustrated me is they could have done some really cool matches, like added some really cool matches to the card,
Mm-hmm.
like, and they didn't. They did like Natalia and Lacey again. Well, I saw that for the last 3 weeks on Raw. Baron Corbin and Chad Gable again. The Viking Raiders and Braun versus the OC, and I'd rather have seen like the OC versus the Viking Raiders in a normal tag match, but say it's for the #1 contenders match. Give them 12 minutes and let them really show what they can do. Like, let them have a really good tag team match with stakes. And I'll do like AJ versus Chad Gable for the US title. Just give us something new and like a little glimpse into, when the draft comes, we're going to get loads of different combinations and matches, and you're going to see fresh content. And it felt very much the same. That was how I felt. I'm not going to comment on the main event until later because I'm going to go off on one.
Okay, I can't wait to hear that. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be funny right there.
But you might be surprised. I think I got a slightly different opinion to the majority of people, but not really. Like, only a little bit. So, first match, yeah, as you mentioned, was Sasha and Becky in the Hell in a Cell. Probably, well, it was match of the night. Was superb from start to finish. What I really liked about it is they kind of did some stuff that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, they got creative.
Yeah, because you see so much stuff in these Hell in a Cell matches where it's the same stuff every year. Run the face against the side and just all this kind of same old. My one sort of complaint is that since they turned Becky heel and not Becky, Sasha heel and turned Bayley heel, they've done nothing with them other than beat them. Bayley's lost the title. I felt like Sasha should have won and then have Becky chase if you're going to keep them on the same show. If you're not going to keep them on the same show, then Becky could have gone and chased on SmackDown. I felt like to really peak Sasha's heel turn, she needed to win today or win in this match and then go from there. But now Becky's beaten her twice, and it's like, where does Sasha go now?
Yeah, definitely. So I felt like if it's like a two-way street with this. I do feel like Sasha should have won that match because she's been built the right way since she came back, and it felt like it was all leading to her eventually becoming Raw Women's Champion, and that's what it felt like. But they didn't go through with that. But another thing is with Becky Lynch, it's like I don't know if they're gonna keep her and Seth Rollins on the same brand because I mean I like they keep couples together on the same brand, and like that's just the thing, Jimmy Uso and Naomi, couples just stay together. I guess that's
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
works. So I don't know if they're going to split. I know they aren't going to split Becky and Seth up. And another thing is they got the draft. Like once they got the draft coming up this Friday, which this episode will be released on that day, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yep. See, there it is. So the draft's coming up. So I don't know if Becky is staying on Raw, but she might be. I know she's getting heavily promoted for SmackDown, but I got a feeling she might be staying on Raw, and then maybe Sasha and Bailey go to SmackDown. It's like it's like it's like two-way street here trying to like think about things because when
yeah.
you have Sasha win the Raw Women's Championship, then she got to go to SmackDown. It's like what's the point? But if she is staying on Raw, then it's gonna be a lot of gripe from people. I'm just saying that right now.
Yeah, and like the problem is now as well is because they took the title off Bailey.
Yeah.
I wondered whether they would put Sasha and Bailey on SmackDown before this match. I thought they might move them two to SmackDown, Charlotte and Becky to Raw, and then I thought Sasha may turn on Bailey the first night of like after the draft,
After the draft, yeah.
and kind of what they've done with Daniel Bryan almost, and turn Bailey super babyface again, and have Sasha be super heel because she's turned on Bailey and go after the title that way.
But but see, the thing is about Bailey, like with her character, she doesn't think she's a bad person. She
Yeah, I
doesn't think
know.
she's a heel.
Cool.
Like that's the good thing. Bailey believes she's just being Bailey, and she's not doing anything wrong. And did you see at the end of their both of their matches how the camera like zoomed in on both of them and like caught them like in their respective like emotional moments? That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
made me wonder like what is that? Like is that building to something? Because Sasha looked frustrated, Bailey looked frustrated. So I wonder like how that's gonna turn out. That's like was very interesting to me.
Tell you what would be quite interesting if they come out on Raw tonight and they like just mess up the Kabuki Warriors or something, like really like go like do a brutal assault and just take out all their frustrations on them. And because they could do like a 15-minute match, those four, and it could be unbelievable. And
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of think like, because I don't think they can do Sasha and Becky again because she's beaten her twice. So it's a bit like, where'd you go now with Sasha to get her heat back, and what storyline does she go into? Which is why
Mm-hmm.
I wondered whether they would go with and finally pull the trigger on Becky versus, God's sake, Bailey versus Sasha on SmackDown.
uh
And yeah, they haven't. So I don't know. But there were some awesome spots in this Hell in the Cell. I really liked the when Banks hit the Meteora on Becky through a
oh,
table.
that was
That was so
nice.
good.
That was nice. And
So nicely
did you see
timed.
the replay of that? I don't know if you did.
Yeah, yeah.
It was on Becky. She like jumped into it. Like Becky was not going to let that moment go down without that table breaking. Like she flew to catch Sasha like for that meteor so she could fall back harder and never break the table. I was like, that's how you get it done. You gotta make
Yeah.
it happen. You gotta make it
Gotta
happen some
make it
way.
happen.
You gotta make it happen some way. But yeah, I like that spot. And the one when Sasha did it into the ladder too. That
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that looked mean.
Nasty. Nasty.
They went all out, man. They went all out, and they definitely match of the night for sure.
Yeah, and do you know what this proved again is with the four horsewomen is if you give them like time in a pay-per-view match, they will put on barn burners. Like Becky has had the two best women's matches in the WWE of the last probably 2 years in the Evolution match with Charlotte
That was a
and
good.
and this, and she gets a little bit of criticism about her match quality and stuff like that, but I just thought this was just enjoyable from start to finish. The only thing I question would be the winner, um, but Becky's she's basically the face of the whole company,
Yeah,
so I can see
yeah.
why they wanted to keep the title on.
Like I say, I couldn't imagine it was like a tough decision. I mean, I couldn't imagine it wasn't a tough decision because you don't want to have Sasha come back and all this steam just for her to lose. But at the same time, dude, Becky Lynch is literally the face of the company. The video game you make with her face on it as the cover is coming out in like 2 weeks. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, not saying she has to be champion, but why wouldn't she be
Yeah.
champion when that comes out? You know, like it's like a double-edged sword. Like you can't. It's like a win-lose situation. Well, a lose-lose situation, and a win-win situation at the same time. Like it's
Is there a way that they can do Becky versus, if they stay on the same brand? Is there a way they can do Becky and Sasha again, or do you think they need to just leave it and
Well,
go somewhere else?
right now, the next pay-per-view is the Saudi show, and I know they aren't wrestling at that.
They ain't going on that.
That ain't happening. Well, I mean, it almost happened last time with Natalia and Alexa, but that almost happened, but it didn't. They canceled that last minute. I'm looking at the calendar right now. The next pay-per-view is Survivor Series, November 24th. So, I mean, you got a ways to go just to see how they build it. But if they do, stay on the same brand through the draft, I definitely think they're gonna pull the trigger on Sasha Banks and make her champion. I just think right now, this week is just like weird for them because it's like Friday is the official reboot. So now they just stuck in this holding pattern, and then you got the Saudi show coming up on the 31st. Like it's just like a weird pattern for them right now, where like they're stuck. But I think once Friday comes, we should have a more clear vision of how storylines are going to play out, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, what makes no sense is that they should have done the draft before the move to Fox, or if Fox wanted it, they should have done it first show.
I said they could have did. Remember, they just had the superstar shakeup in this year in May, and then we just had a superstar. We just had a superstar shakeup, and then now we got a draft a couple months later. So it's like, I mean, it. I try not to be like super negative all the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't like doing that. I like being positive and try to look at the positive stuff. But like, if this is the product that is being presented when you have the availability of both rosters, what are you gonna do when both of those rosters aren't available? You just gonna have one roster. You're gonna have a solid set of people. You can't go over to Raw and say, "Oh, I need this person. Can I use this person?" And the only time that's probably going to be done is around Survivor Series, and we don't even know if they're doing the traditional Raw versus SmackDown theme pay-per-view this year, which I hope they don't. I miss the old Survivor Series, just regular championship matches, and just save the 5-on-5 for the end of the show. Do your women's and men's 5-on-5 and just leave it at that. That's what I miss about Survivor Series. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Team Becky versus Team Sasha and Bayley. That could be quite interesting. See who they bring up, especially if they have a couple of new faces come up from NXT maybe, because you could have do you remember when, you might be too young, this show my age now, but do you remember when CM Punk debuted and he was on a team?
Oh wait, time out. Too young.
Yeah.
Too young. I'm offended by it. That was like, what was that when he first debuted at WWE? What was that, like 2005?
I don't know.
2006?
No, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it's not that long ago, is it? Too young.
Too young.
Sorry, bro. That was bad maths. So yeah,
man,
you know when he debuted. I do apologize. I'm sorry, man. I got my maths all wrong. So when CM Punk debuted, he debuted at around Survivor Series, and he was straight in a team with DX.
Yeah.
I think he was with RVD or someone like he had a real super babyface team.
I think it was DX, and Jeff Hardy, CM Punk.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he got really over straight off the bat from being with these super baby faces. And I feel like if they're going to bring up any women from NXT, whether they're heel or faces, they could, or even if they bring back like Liv Morgan or Ruby Riott. I think Ruby Riott's not ready yet, but like Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, ready for the reboot. If they're gonna do something with those girls, they could probably do a lot worse than put them on Team Sasha or Team Becky in like a big 5-on-5 match for Survivor Series, rather than just put in Alexa and Nikki and just the usual faces, Natalia. Let's get some new, fresh faces in there, get some returning faces in there, and try and do something with them on these rebooted rosters.
Yeah, say for the traditional matches. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that I don't think this is the direction that is going to go, but I was hoping that we get Sasha versus Bayley at Survivor Series, but I don't. Right now, I don't know. But for the Survivor Series match, man, I think just if you want to make it mean something, just add stakes to it. Make like, okay, I'm a part of Raw, you're a part of SmackDown, so we got to fight. Okay, but I was just on SmackDown a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and we're talking as if Survivor Series was today. I was just on SmackDown a month ago, and I was on SmackDown for the majority of the summer. But I hate you because you're on SmackDown. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So
stupid.
because of the wild card rule. So now like you just add stakes to it. Do something like if the last person, the person who's the sole survivor, they get the number 30 spot in the respective Royal Rumble match coming up. Do something like that.
Yeah.
That would make it very, and then you could build feuds just off that, because it's like, okay, let's say it's three people left on Team Raw, one person left on Team SmackDown. The number 30 spot in their Royal Rumble matches on the line. You think you gonna let that other person get that pinfall? Or like whoever's the last person the pin whoever or whatever like that. You think you gonna let that other person get that pinfall? No. As soon as you pin them, drag them out the ring. It's like you could create stuff just based off that, like one little thing.
Yeah, you could have teammates turning on each other at the end, but not to cost them the match.
Nah, you just want
to get them. Just you on the spot.
Yeah, it's that simple. But those matches are always fun, like regardless of what happens. Like those are always fun matches, like, regardless.
Yeah, they have. I wonder what they're going to do with Survivor Series this year. I just hope what I want from them, I want them to just make an effort. I feel sometimes like they're on autopilot or just kind of just cruising through, doing the bare minimum instead of putting some thought into it and actually tell a long-term story. But know what the end is, know what the start is, and then fill in the middle, rather than booking week to week by the seat of your pants. Just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Well, this week Daniel Bryan's a heel with Eric Rowan, but now he's super babyface Daniel Bryan again. Like, that's not long-term planning. They've changed it as they're booking week to week. And it's frustrating. It's real frustrating. So the next match was the Tornado Tag, which I really enjoyed this match. I wasn't expecting anything from it. It was Roman Reigns, match, man. Daniel Bryan defeated Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. But yeah, it was real fun.
They'll say that like this match did nothing but show me like how bigger stars Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan are. Like they are like mega stars in WWE, and it showed just how like they're able to gauge the crowd, and by just simply making their entrance. Like people love Roman Reigns, people love Daniel Bryan, and like that right there kind of shows you why they turned Daniel Bryan face again. Like you see the way people react to this dude. But the one thing I really noticed about this, that Daniel Bryan doesn't do the yes thing anymore. No. Like when he came to the ring, he just did his regular walk. When he usually when he climbs to the top of the turnbuckle and he does the yes thing, he didn't do that at all. So that kind of makes me think like it's just there's a slight chance he might still be healed. But I mean, either Daniel Bryan is fine with me. But yeah, like you said, that was a real fun match. Like anytime you got two guys like that, two superstars, and then you got guys like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan who could pretty much go with anybody. Like it's gonna be a good match. And like you said, like when they're like you don't really expect anything out of it, but when you see how good it was, you like at the end of it, you like, damn, all right, that was good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And what I like about Daniel Bryan as well is you say about the not doing the yes things. So there is that slight chance that you're thinking, is he going to turn? Is he going to turn on Friday on SmackDown because he's not doing the yes chance? But also, he's gauging. He knows that if he builds it up over a few weeks, and people will notice, oh, he's not doing the yes chance, but the crowd are doing it, and then eventually, in a few weeks' time, when he finally does do the yes chant, the pop will be huge because Daniel Bryan is one of the best in the world for reading the room. Even when they did like the handshake, when they did the handshake at the end after the match, how many wrestlers would have teased the handshake and then just done it, like teased it for a few seconds and then just done the handshake and then that was it. But the both of them, they waited. The one of them pulled it away. Then Roman turned away.
And then they ran for the hug.
Yeah, they milked him. They milked it, and because they read the room, they could read that the fans really wanted to see it in the building, so they made him wait for it. And I feel like not every wrestler, certainly in the WWE, would have been able to quite do that. They would have just rushed into it a bit. And it just Daniel Bryan, man. I want heel Daniel Bryan real bad. I really wanted him to be with Luke Harper and Rowan. I feel like that would have been a real cool element to it. But Daniel Bryan as babyface, he's like super babyface. So cool. So it's win-win, as you say.
Daniel Bryan is the man. That's all that. But I do agree with what you're saying because when he came back initially from that concussion thing and he had the whole emotional speech, the guy was like literally the biggest babyface on earth. And then like within a matter of months, he just turned it.
Just and another guy.
Like it worked so perfect. Like as Daniel Bryan, he looks like he crazy as hell. Like so when you see like how he quickly just turned it like that, and then he went and had this such a great heel run, it's like you kind of want both, but I feel like at the same time the reason people favor the heel is because that's what we've seen for the past number of months, and we haven't seen babyface like true babyface Daniel Bryan since like 2014. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
we want the most recent thing, but he is great in that heel role. But like we talked about earlier, like just now, we don't know because he's not doing the yes thing, and he still got the whole Planet's Champion logo in his entrance, Titantron. So I mean, it might still be a possibility.
Do you know what else they could do? Especially with like AEW and the way the wrestling is these days, where they're trying to get viewers in, is on Friday, rather than Daniel Bryan turning, maybe Roman Reigns will turn instead.
Oh no,
that's the sort of thing that Vince will do.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Bad idea.
If there's one thing in this world that is not going to happen, it's Roman Reigns being a heel. He is not turning. Like
never ever.
I truly feel the main event of WrestleMania 36 is going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. That's truly what I think. Like honestly, like I mean, can you like really combat it? Like the way they've been booking Roman Reigns post WrestleMania has been like it's kind of good. Like I can't lie. Like I've never been like the biggest Roman Reigns the character guy. Never been, but the way he's been presented since he's came back from beating leukemia has been like no complaints.
Yeah,
he's not been forced in title pictures. He's been in good feuds. He's helped elevate guys like Buddy Murphy. Like, and even though people say, well, Buddy Murphy's not on TV. Well, that's not his fault. That Buddy Murphy isn't on TV, but Buddy Murphy was on TV and had a real good match with Roman Reigns that was partially in credit to Buddy Murphy being so good. Like, but it's not his fault that WWE just isn't using Buddy Murphy, but he got to be in that spotlight with one of their biggest stars. So I mean, like to say that the main event of WrestleMania 36 could be Roman Reigns winning the title, it's it's not really nothing to complain about because he really hasn't been doing anything complain worthy over the past whatever months.
Yeah, my only complaint about that is I don't want to see that match again.
Oh, I don't
Like,
either, but you know.
but yeah, I agree with you. They've kind of stepped back from just trying to get him to the top, and they had this thing of they just wanted him to be the center of everything, the top of everything,
Yeah,
and
that they were
it
trying to
just gets a
force him
bit
to be over,
much.
and it wasn't
Yeah,
natural. But now it's natural.
yeah, it is. I just wonder. I do wonder if when he does eventually go to the title picture, depends who he's feuding with, is a big thing. I do wonder
It
if
could be
people will
sick.
turn.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, maybe it's not Brock Lesnar. Maybe it's the Universal title. Maybe it's Seth Rollins. Like I know WrestleMania is a long way away, and we don't know like anything can happen. Injuries, like anything can happen from now to here. But maybe he won't go after Brock. Maybe he go after the Universe. Like it's a lot of things that could happen. But I mean,
Yeah, man.
it also depends on the Royal Rumble thing, like, cause how usually, if a SmackDown guys win the title, he always challenge for that respective brand's title and vice versa on Raw. But maybe they bring back the rule where you win the Royal Rumble, you can choose which one you're gonna go for. Like, it's a lot of stuff. Like sometimes I like kind of overthink it, but it's fun to overthink stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah,
Just the wonder of like what
yeah.
can happen.
Do you think, like, especially if Seth turns heel, which I think is coming, which I'll get into in a bit. I think Seth's going to turn heel, and then maybe you could do Roman Seth at Mania.
I wouldn't be
But
against that at all. I think that would be a real fun match. But it has to be done the right way, whatever that is.
yeah, they just got to be careful with him, haven't they? With Roman, and just not get too excited, Vince, and like push it. Just let it come naturally. Like the
Like
best,
it has been doing.
yeah, the best stories, the best characters, the best feuds are when the crowd naturally gets into it. The reason the Fiend has been so cool and interesting is because people naturally gravitated to the Firefly Funhouse and to the entrance and to the Finn Balor match and just the complete difference of it. It's natural. It's not forced. So it's the same with other Daniel Bryan. Him turning babyface again. At first, it was really weird and it felt a bit stupid with the attacking Roman stuff got a bit much. But then by the time last night came, it felt natural for him to like shake Roman's hand and like because he's turned gradually all the way. And what I like about that as well is Daniel Bryan didn't just suddenly, because he was kind of the enemy and my enemy is my friend, he didn't just suddenly turn good guy and be with Roman. He kept his heel persona. So when he was doing like commentary, he was saying like I never lie, I'm the planet's champion or whatever. All those that those things that he's been saying while he's a heel. He
Mm.
kind of kept them, but just toned them down a little bit. And I like that because it's stupid when they go like good guy to bad guy and they forget all the stuff that they've based their character around for the months previous because I'm a bad guy now. So this group of people are my friends now, whereas before it was this group of people because they're the good guys. I've always found that really stupid. Like
Mm.
you know, people can be. You don't have to separate all the wrestlers as like heels and faces. Like there can be some grey areas where some of your baby faces have got a nasty streak or a bit of heel tendencies, and some of your heels can be kind of they can be all right, but when it comes down to it, they're heels. Um, not everyone is the same, so not every character should have the same traits, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree.
Sorry, man. I went off on a huge.
I understand what you're saying. Like that was precise.
Precise. That's the
Precise.
first time I've been called precise ever. So that's cool. Okay, so after I'm just skipping through the matches because we'll just talk like generally about them rather than going through them bit by bit. Like Randy Orton versus Ali, I kind of enjoyed this match. I really like the Randy Orton who just doesn't give a shit. He's like my favorite Randy Orton. But saying that, I felt like they should have done something different. I don't think they should have put him on the card. Seeing as, what was it, 3-4 days ago, he was like dropping a racial slur on
There we
on
go.
a
See,
on a stream, and it's like,
this is why I like you. See, this is why I like you. This is
but
you're a good man.
but it's like it's stupid though, isn't it? Because like if anyone else did that,
Boy,
there's
I
no
tell
way they'd have him on a pay-per-view 2 days later. Because it's not like it was like a big feud that they've been building to for months and they didn't want to cancel the match. It was like thrown together at the last minute. So you're telling me they couldn't have done Buddy Murphy versus Ali or fucking Rusev, anyone. They got hundreds of guys.
The thing is, man, like I really don't have any comment about Randy Orton at all. Like I don't like at all. Ali, great performance per usual, as he always does. Randy, I really don't have a comment towards him, and that's just the way WWE does. And like, not to compare these things because all of them are equally bad. But had Randy said something homophobic or he said something about someone's size or weight, it would be this massive uproar from WWE too. But like, since it's some like racial, it kind of puts things in perspective of how they value certain things over other things. And not to say that racism is more important than somebody being homophobic. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it just shows you that where that is on the totem pole in regards to things being disciplined. Like, you can just go on stream and drop the N-bomb and, oh, well, he slipped up. I'm like, well, you do know that when you say stuff out loud, 9 times out of 10, you say it in private because it's already in your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't in your vocabulary, you wouldn't say it. Like, I played, like, it was this one guy who told me, he was like, well, you know how video games are when you get upset. And I told him, I was like, okay, so in 2017, I played in a Madden tournament, right? $1,500 on the line. Mind you, I'm in college. $1,500 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, bro. Like, for a college student, 20 years old, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and I was losing to the guy I was playing with. He was Latino. The last thing on my mind was any racial slur. The last thing. Because you want to know why? It's not in my vocabulary. I don't say it in private, so I have no reason to say it in public. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's literally that simple. Like, it's just basic traits. And people keep saying, oh, Randy Orton didn't mean to say it. I'm like, well, if he didn't mean to say it, he would have never said it. Like, things you say, like, naturally out your mouth are things that you say in private. Like, it's just, that's just the force of habit.
So, for instance, when I do the podcast, there's certain shows like I don't swear on or I don't curse, and there's certain shows where I don't mind it. I find it quite difficult sometimes because in my real life, I curse a lot.
Right.
So I use those words when I'm talking, just describing stuff. But I don't say like racial slurs or anything like that, or homophobic slurs or anything like that, because I don't say it. So I don't say it.
So it's not. So you're not gonna exactly. So
slip up. I don't slip up because I don't say it.
Even if you do get riled up while you're speaking or you get hyped, you're not gonna say it because it's not in your outside vocabulary. No. Like that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's literally the people try to combat that. They're like, oh well, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, bro, it makes perfect sense. Like, it makes perfect sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something as simple as me saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I say that a lot because I say it a lot. I'm outside, like,
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
what's frustrating is, say, I don't know, who could we use? Say Buddy Murphy said it. Same stream, just Buddy Murphy in Randy Orton's place. There's no way there's no way Buddy Murphy would then be third on a card of a pay-per-view, winning. There's no way.
A part of that is just Randy, his tenure in WWE. Like he has,
of course.
he has backing in the company, of course, like for all that he's done for them and with them. But that's just like I hate saying this, but sometimes it's just the way it is. Like, and it's just the case of him getting away with it, because this is not the first time that Randy Orton has done something like kind of out of bounds. Well, not even kind of out of bounds, just out of bounds. This is not the first time. He's done plenty of other things. Like even that story, it was not even a story. Court Bauer confirmed it when he would he used to like pull his genitalia out and put it in creative writers' hands, the new ones, the new creative writers, like stuff like that. Like how do you like just not like
how do you do that and get away with that?
Get away with it, and like don't get get reprimanded or anything like that. So that's just what it is. But
fucking arrested,
right?
You know what I mean?
But like out of all that, I will say Ali had a great showing, as he always does. I hope they do something with him, eventually.
Well,
but as far as Randy Orton,
fuck him.
we should just go to the next match, man. Forget Randy Orton.
Yeah.
We got nothing to say.
The one thing I was going to say is when I saw the match, when I saw that it was Randy Orton versus Ali, I thought that they were going to put Ali over as like a kind of punishment thing.
Yeah. You want to know what's crazy? I was thinking about that when that happened. I was like, why is Randy Orton getting the match? And then when I saw Ali, when I saw the segment with him and Ali, I'm like, oh, they about to put Ali over right here. I'm like, well, that's cool. But they beat him. Like, what? You beat him? Like, really? But, it is what it is, man. Let's go to the next topic.
Yes.
Go to the next topic.
Yeah,
man.
Let's get on quick. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors for the championship. Now, I got a massive problem with this fucking match.
So
I really like. Go on, you go.
I just want to say one thing. I like this version of Kyrie and Asuka because, like, it seems like they're not trying to please the crowd anymore. They're just like, we're gonna do what we want. We're gonna be snarky. We're gonna be smart asses. Asuka's using the green mist now, which I think is cool. I will always wonder how wrestlers have done that, like how they keep that. Like I have to find out like how they do that, like how you keep that like for a duration of a match and then use it at the end without like coughing it up and like that stuff like amazing. That like, matter of fact, that's one thing about wrestling that I never want to find out. Like I don't want that room for me like at all. Like that's like.
I can tell you.
No,
I can tell you. I know how they do.
Don't tell me.
No, you don't want to know. Okay. Don't spoil it.
Yeah. But what were you going to say about the match?
Yeah. So I really like all the performers. I've slowly got on board with Alexa and Nikki as a tag team. I wasn't
very
a fan.
Good. Very like they
are
grown
really good. However, what I don't like is the Kabuki Warriors have gone heel without like turning. Like there's been no kind of like not even a reason, but like just like a segment which shows their change in character or like a reason for their change in character.
Yeah,
just
but
something.
I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, I don't feel like they really like need that. I feel like they just need to just do it. Like, cause it's been enough of them, basically sitting on the sidelines. Like last night being Hell in a Cell, which was this October 6th, it was just like they just need to win. Like they keep losing and they haven't been on the winning end of things. So let's do what we gotta do to win. And that was their heel turn. Now hopefully they follow up on that because they're gonna be on Raw tonight competing against Charlotte and Becky in a tag match. I'm hoping that we get like a new theme song. Maybe they switch up. Like I'm not saying do exactly what happened with Io Shirai, because Io is her own her own person, and she's doing great right now with the heel character. But I just want Asuka and Kyrie to, if you want to keep them as a tag team, make them look like a tag team. Like
Yes.
I done seen enough of bubbly babyface Kyrie saying, like, she can. I'm pretty sure she can do some great heel work. Asuka has done great heel work. Well, I don't think Asuka has never been a heel. She's always been a tweener. Like, the fans won't boo Asuka. Like, she can't get booed. I don't think that the people will ever boo her. But like, I'm very excited to see what they do now as tag champions, and I just hope they actually treat them good as tag champions. So, which we'll see in a couple of hours. What they see if they face Charlotte and Becky in a tag match. So we gonna see.
They they could be what the WWE wanted Bayley and Sasha to do initially, in that they could have a long run, have good matches, and like really elevate the titles again. My one worry is that Vince is going to see Io Shirai and think, "Oh, I'm going to put them all together as a."
I don't
as
think
heel
Io's beating
trio.
NXT. Io was dominating
So
right
good,
now.
so good.
She's on.
And
The worst thing that could happen is, well, not the. I ain't gonna say that's a little dramatic, but I don't think it would be a good move to have her get called up. I just wanted to add that in.
No, it would not. No, definitely not. But that's always my worry with Vince. He makes dumb decisions. I enjoyed the match.
Just another thing I wanted to add in. You know how this is. Well, I don't even think it's like a rumor or a myth at this point. You know how Vince isn't that fond of guys or girls who can't speak to the English audiences.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, dude, like, I don't even think you need them to speak to the end. Like, I keep going back to this. Just look at Io Shirai. She know, like, you can tell she's improving on her English. You can just tell she is by the way she's doing promos and stuff like that. But that doesn't need to be the focus of her character. She doesn't need it. Her entrance does the talking for her. In-ring work does the talking for her. And her actions does the talking for her. Like, it's that simple. Like, even with Shinsuke Nakamura when he was in NXT, his English wasn't that good, but the character was so damn over because Shinsuke was literally that damn good. That's why people were so drawn to him. Same thing with Asuka when she was in NXT. Same thing with Kyrie saying when she was in NXT. Their English doesn't need to be super on par with someone who was born in America. It doesn't need to be that way. They can literally do what they do and be just as popular. Because people tend to like people when you don't realize. They tend to like people that don't really say much. We're like ominous. Pretty much how Aleister Black was when he was in NXT. Somebody bring this man back wherever he is. But that's why people like Aleister Black so much when he was in NXT. He didn't talk. He speaks perfect English. Aleister Black did not talk at all. Well, he talked. He had his little segments here and there, but for the most part, he was just a ominous guy. Didn't say much. Went out there, kicked your head off, and that was it. And he got over.
One of my favorite versions of or one of my favorite runs of Asuka since she came to the main roster. I think it was like last year. She was on SmackDown, and she was kind of winning loads of matches, and she was just screaming at everyone in Japanese.
I was
happy with that.
Man,
I was happy with that.
I just gotta say this. They did Asuka dirty, man. Like that. I'm talking about like when that WrestleMania, like a couple weeks. What was it, like a week or 2 weeks before WrestleMania when she lost the title to Charlotte?
Yeah.
That, like, come on, man. Like, and then the thing is, you wanna know what's crazy? When was the last time Becky Lynch lost cleanly? Wasn't it to Asuka at the Rumble? Wasn't that the last time Becky Lynch, like, literally, like, I'm talking about, like, somebody beat her, like, clean? That was Asuka, right?
Yeah.
Why in the hell hasn't Asuka, like,
got a title match?
Yeah, but I mean, well, she's champion now, so that really don't matter. But I mean, like,
it makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. I just wonder, like, why, like, Asuka has literally been the only person to beat Becky this year, I think, cleanly. Like, just off the top of my head, I can't remember anybody that beat Becky. Well, Charlotte, no, Charlotte didn't beat Becky. I was thinking about the Fastlane match, but that was when Becky earned her spot in the main event of WrestleMania. But yeah, I digress. But that was the match was good. Let me ask you this: what did you think about well, I don't really think they're quote unquote heel yet, like all the way. But where do you see Oscar and Kyrie going from here?
I would like to see them now that they've got the titles, and they kind of went down the route of, oh, they'll just do anything to win because they're fed up of being on the sidelines or whatever. I'd like to see them go a bit further and be like they'll do anything to keep the titles
They'll
because
complete the
they've
full
got them
heel
now.
turn.
Yeah,
Mm.
and do it that way. Um, and I think if they're gonna make them cut promos, then give them a manager, give them a good heel manager, give them Stokely Hathaway. Fuck it, I like him, so give him someone who can cut a good promo and get him over as like these heels. But
You want to know like a great example, like like literally what we're just talking about. You see how they doing with the Autos of Pain? Like,
yeah,
dude, that is grade A right there. Like they're speaking. I don't know what they're speaking. What are they?
I think one of them's Bulgarian. I don't know.
I don't know either. But it's great, and the subtitles are right there. I love it.
Yeah,
I love the way they're being
ominous
presented. They can do the exact same thing with Kyrie saying to Oscar. They don't have to speak English. They don't
nope
have to speak English. They can speak Japanese.
subtitles.
They sound more badass when they're talking in Japanese. Honestly, like being completely honest, like they
Yeah,
really do. And if it's like literally that serious, like you just can't stand the fact of your English audience not understanding what they're saying. Use subtitles. Like
yeah,
if it's like literally that serious, use subtitles. Use subtitles. And then half the time, the crowds are smart enough to just cheer after everything they say, even if they don't understand. It's like the same thing when when New Japan has a show in the UK or the States, and the wrestler who closes the show is giving a speech. Half the crowd doesn't understand what they're saying, but they do the respectful thing and they cheer after every pause. Crowds are smart. They know what they're doing. All right,
yeah.
you got to have a little bit of faith in your fans. Like, just, you know,
And the
not
thing
not not
is,
that not everybody's gonna be what after every single thing.
yeah. And the other thing as well is like I mentioned when Oscar was just screaming in Japanese, is the crowd understood like the emotions that she was conveying because it's her natural language and her first language. So she is naturally displaying emotion as she's speaking. So people could pick up on that as well. They could pick up on the body language and the emotions of the face. It doesn't have to be in English. And then if you want to do vignettes, like with the Authors of Pain, you can use subtitles. So I agree that you don't have to have them cut promos in English, and you don't have to have a manager. But if the WWE is insistent that they're going to keep giving them a microphone and telling them to speak English, then I would give them some sort of manager, whoever it may be, someone good. Um, but yeah, I like the Green Mist as well. I thought that was really cool. I'm always a fan of that, even though there's like some logic gaps in like one of my things is like making referees look stupid, and then when you've got like Nikki, is you got like green powder or paint all over her face, and Oscar's got it all over her mouth, and the referee's counting, looking at it. I just feel a bit like, come on,
And see,
it's a bit,
let's see. I was thinking about that too, but my one argument against that, it's kind of the same thing. With AEW Dynamite, for the premiere episode, when Hangman went in to tackle Pac and Pac low blowed him, and the referee didn't see it. It's like, yeah, like they know what happened. Like, I mean, they see stuff, but they didn't see it, so you can't call it if you didn't
yeah,
see it. You know that's kind of like my thing. Like where I kind of like, oh well, you know. I mean that is a good point, but I
yeah.
mean, obviously he sees the mist, but he didn't see.
See and use it, yeah,
He didn't see
yeah.
Oscar use the mist. So it's like, well, might as well let it go. Like it's like one of those things.
Yeah, yeah, and I get like it's the same as in like sports and stuff, isn't it? If the referee doesn't see
You can't
something
call it.
happen, can't call it. So yeah, yeah, I could take that as a reason. I'm happy with that. Um, then we had the OC versus Braun. and the Viking Raiders. Um,
This,
this
I
is
think
where
this was done nothing but to
this,
get Braun Strowman's right hand over for tonight when he goes uh face to face with Mr. Tyson Fury. And I don't know if you saw it, but I think it was what I saw this on a website that I'm not too I I don't know if they're like you know some people they kind of take quotes from reporters and twist them.
yeah,
So I'm gonna say this is a 50-50 one, but they said that Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury is might be set for Crown Jewel. So that 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 might be something that's but basically I think that's basically what it was. That whole match was to get Braun Strowman's his right hand over.
yeah.
But
I
can we give credit to AJ Styles for the way that
yeah,
he sold the punch, and he stood on top of the
yeah,
ring, was
man.
like I'm good, and then they let him go. He raised the title and he felt bad. I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. That was kind of
Yeah,
funny.
that made me chuckle that he just sort of kind of I'm fine, and
Mm.
it's good. He's AJ is one of the best in the world. So here's a question for you. After NXT on Wednesday, Finn said that
Oh
maybe he
boy.
needs to bring some friends to NXT. Now, people say, "Oh, yeah, you can't, AJ can't go to NXT," but it's on USA for one, and two, AJ said since his debut that he actually wishes he had gone to NXT.
He has
Now,
said that. He has said that multiple
so
times. I can vouch for that.
you're telling me that they shouldn't do Undisputed Era versus the OC in War Games?
Uh,
Got to do it.
my thing about that. I think Finn is a smart dude. I think he was just saying that just to
Teasing.
build your tease. Like Finn is smart. He know what he doing. Like he knows people wants to see. He know what I'm saying. Balor's a smart dude. That's I'm gonna just leave it at that. But though, as far as the war games, I feel like that was put in place on the when Matt Riddle and Killian Dane brawled on the outside, and then they brawled with Imperium and Street Profits got involved. I think that was like and Pete Dunne got
Yeah,
involved. I think that was the official kickoff to
yeah.
War Games. But I would you telling me they gonna get Undisputed Era versus the OC in War Games? You ain't no complaints out of me, buddy. No
Oh yeah.
complaints. No complaints out of me. But I guess we'll see. I mean, War Games that's next month, so
Yeah, Survivor
you know
Series weekend, isn't it?
we gonna see.
We're going to see indeed.
But
Yeah, but I'd like to see that. I
I
would
say,
I
but
would really like to see it.
the 6-man tag, if I didn't really care for it that much. It was just run of the mill match. It was just the Bill Braun Strowman, and
And the
AJ
thing
added
is,
some entertainment at the end. So
yeah, I thought AJ was funny. Braun, they're making me care about him less and less with each week. Um, and this is where it started to go downhill a bit for me. Like, because at this point, all I cared about was watching The Fiend versus Seth Rollins. I didn't care about this tag team match. I didn't care about King Corbin versus Chad Gable again. Like,
man,
Chad
hold on,
Gable's a really super
wait.
talented guy.
Can we please talk about what they are doing to Chad Gable? Like, bro, this man is legit an amateur wrestler. He really did go to the Olympics and could
Yep.
probably take down half of the male roster. Yet you continuously make fun of this grown man like he
Yep.
can't probably put hands and feet on every single last person on that roster. Like it's ridiculous. And
Makes no sense.
I hate being one of these dudes. Like until people like Chad Gable, sir, when your contract is up, go, just
Yeah.
go. Like nobody's saying go to AEW. Nobody's saying none of that. Go where you can be like. And then the thing is like he's being utilized. Like it's not like Chad Gable is on TV like quite often. He's putting on great matches, like real great matches. But it's like, dude, like Shorty G, Shorty Gable. You got the ring announcer calling him Shorty G. The backstage interviewers calling him Shorty G. Like, come on now, bro. Come on now.
Stupid.
Like, he like Chad Gable is like damn near the same height as half of everybody. Like I think
Yeah,
so, I don't think Samoa Joe is 6 feet. Seth Rollins isn't 6 feet. Rey Mysterio is 5'4". You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
yeah,
what's the point? But I mean, Chad. Like the thing is, when they do that, it does make the crowd root for Chad Gable. Like as you see when he won last night, that they pop when he won like big time. Like so, I mean, I like just stop calling him like treating that man like he's some child. Like call him Chad Gable. Like just call him Chad Gable. You can literally get him over as we've seen in the past by just letting him go out there and be the underdog. Like it's literally that simple. And I think
well, he,
Chad Gable should have been won a mid card title by now. Like
yeah, he should be 2018, 19 Kurt Angle. You know, he's
mm.
like make him a wrestling submission machine who everyone takes lightly because he's small, but he can tap out or
How tall is Chad Gable? Like what is he like
he's not
five
even that.
nine?
5'9", I think, 5'9", 5'10", 5'8". He's not like tiny. You know, he's not like Rey Mysterio's height. Like Rey Mysterio's like 5'4", I
Yeah,
think.
sir, he's 5'4".
Like he's not that small. He's just he's he's not he's not big, is he? He's not massive, but like come on.
I think
If you
he's like the same height as Mustafa Ali.
yeah. It's just like it's that crap which like people get frustrated with then, don't they? It's like insulting your intelligence.
It's
It's kind of
stupid.
like
It's
yeah,
stupid. It's stupid.
it's like that's like what my kids if I said to my kids, go and write like a wrestling show about these people, that's what they would come up with. Like making fun of their height. And do you know what I mean? It's like that's what my 10-year-old would come up with. And these people are getting paid loads to come up with this.
Okay, we
Right.
360 angle on the camera.
Yeah, just spinning around, giving the tour.
Uh,
My
so what?
foot got caught.
So what was the next match after? Oh wait. Okay, so
So Chad Gable beat
yes,
Baron
okay,
Corbin.
yeah. Chad gave a big Baron Corbin. All right.
And then next up we have the SmackDown Women's Championship, which was Bayley versus Charlotte. And then the same as Sasha, Bayley turned heel and then lost
Let,
the title.
let me just say this. I know a lot of people are kind of like sour on Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? But it is impossible to not acknowledge how good she is and why they put her in the positions that she is in. Like people come up with the craziest excuses. Oh, Vince likes blondes. Vince favors Charlotte. I'm like, bro, how about y'all? Do y'all ever just sit down and just think that, well, maybe Charlotte really is that damn good? Like, she's great on the mic. She can talk, number one. She can cut a promo without a script, and she did that at Survivor Series 2017. If you ever go back and watch that promo that she did with Alexa Bliss, that was off the top, and Charlotte did great. She's good in the ring, pretty much work with anybody. Like maybe it's not because they favor her. Maybe just because she's really that damn good, and sometimes they don't have any other way to go. Like I get it can be a little excessive at times. Like I trust me, I get it. Like she's an 11-time women's champion in 4 years. Well, how long she's been on the main roster? She's been on the main roster since 2015. Yeah,
15.
2015. 5 years. She's been on the main roster for 5 years, dude. And she's an 11-time women's champion. They don't count the NXT title for whatever.
She'll beat her dad's records
Oh,
in a couple
oh,
of few
oh,
years.
for sure, for sure. Well, I mean, like, I'm never gonna be mad at like I used to be like, damn, why they keep giving her titles? But like now it's just like, dude, she's like that's your safe bet right there. It's your safe
Yeah,
bet. It like dude, it's like the same thing they used to do with John Cena back in the day. Like they take the title on Cena. Cena's your safe bet. When
yeah,
you ain't got nowhere else to go, put the title on Cena. When you ain't got nowhere
yeah,
else to go, put the title on Charlotte. But I mean, like now it's just a matter of like where do they go? And like now, I think is the time. Like if you want to put the title on Charlotte, you need to start getting those competitors in there that don't normally get TV time. Put in the Ember Moon, put in the Sarah Logan or Liv Morgan or whoever. Like let them start getting title opportunities, and they could get that rub off of Charlotte, like how Buddy Murphy got that rub off Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing.
mm-hmm.
Like use your big star to build other stars. Like it's that simple. It's a simple formula.
Yeah. I think Sarah Logan and Charlotte could have a really good match if they just give time. They never give Sarah Logan any time on TV, any time for matches, and like she's a
She's on
good
main event.
worker. She's a good
With,
worker.
yeah.
Like Sonya Deville. I've wanted Sonya Deville to get like proper push
the day
for
Sonya
years.
Deville breaks away from Mandy Rose is the day that she will become a real good, like real solid person in the singles division for the women. I'm telling you, Sonya's gonna be real good. But right now, like I kind of see like it's like kind of no reason for you to break her and Mandy Rose. I feel like you just be doing it just to do it. Like, but it's gonna be a time where Sonya gets her time to shine, and I definitely think she's gonna become women's champion. Like that's like inevitable at this point.
Yeah, she's super talented, and I really hope she gets her opportunity soon. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy,
Let's get ready.
The rant is about to go down from Mr. Sai. Good Lord.
Oh dear.
Matter of fact, you know what? Let me kick this off.
First.
I'm gonna ask you the questions. We gonna flip this around.
Go on.
Mr. Sai. Okay, so I'm gonna just we're gonna break it down tit for tat, and I'm gonna just get you your opinion because I'm real interested in what you got to say.
Get me all riled up now.
All right, so they start off the match. First of all, it's always good seeing the entrance. Entrance is great. The Fiend's entrance. I love seeing the entrance. Like that's never gonna get old. Okay, so they start off the match with the red lighting. What did you think the red lighting was a good feel? Or do you think it was too much?
No, man. I thought if they'd left it on for like a minute and then like got rid of it, just left it on for like the intros or like just as I don't know, but I didn't want that, and I think it just looks tacky and it makes it more difficult to see what's going on, and it just reminds me of Sin Cara. There's nothing good that comes from having that red light. There was nothing which made me think, oh, that could work. It was just everything about it was negative. So I wasn't a fan of the light at all, no.
Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the next thing with Seth Rollins continuously using the curb stomp on Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt consistently getting up. Doesn't that put Seth Rollins in a weird position where now his finisher isn't like that strong, or does that just make Bray Wyatt look stronger by him consistently getting up from Seth Rollins' finishers and kicking out at one?
So, if you remember, when we talked last time with Clash Champions, I said that I wanted that exact thing to happen for the Fiends to get up from multiple curb stomps. Granted, I didn't think it would be like 25, 30 curb stomps, whatever it was.
That was a lot.
Like overkill.
Like I don't even think you're exaggerating when you say 12. No. I would at least say 19. It was like 19 curbs. Not like that was a lot.
So for me, with the curb stomps, I feel like they could have done 3, kicked out a 1, done 2 more, kicked out a 1 or 2, and then left it at that, and then moved on to whatever, and then that wouldn't have been so bad. I think the amount of curb stomps rather than the doing it, if that makes sense. Like I had a problem more with the amount rather than, because I wanted the match to consist of Bray Wyatt basically no selling everything, which Seth did, or selling it for like a minute and then popping up. I wanted that because I felt like this was a star-making moment. This was your moment to make the Fiend this ultimate big boss monster, which is almost impossible to beat, because eventually you're going to have some super babyface beat him eventually at some point. And I felt like this is where I think people will disagree with me, is if you take away the light and you just book the match as they booked it, but don't use as many of the stomps, and then instead of having the crappy finish with the what a DQ or whatever you want to call it, instead of having that, you have the Fiend go over in dominant fashion, and the show finishes with the Fiend raising the belt and everyone being like, wow, never seen anything like that. I've never seen anyone get up from all those moves. I've never seen anyone do anything like that. Even like the Taker in his heyday didn't get up from that amount of stuff. You've got like this ready-made behemoth to conquer all, and then you can start setting up baby faces to try and take it off.
So I'm gonna challenge you right here on this one.
Yeah,
so for the majority of the time that the Fiend has been built, he has never, I don't even think not once, brought up the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
The whole thing for him has been about showing Seth Rollins the way, which is what I think is to bring that side out of Seth Rollins, which we saw last night, where he's willing to do anything to get, well, basically bring that dark side out of Seth Rollins. The Fiend has never said, I want to win the Universal Championship. I don't even think he's ever even mentioned the Universal Championship, because I don't think he cares about the Universal Championship, right? So when you take that into consideration, does that make the finish of last night less than what it was, or does it just like I'm trying to figure out how to like word it, but it like when I think about that, it's like, well, he kind of never said that he wanted to be Universal Champion. Like, he never said that. Like, it's all about for him is for showing the Seth Rollins the way and bringing that dark side out of Seth Rollins, which he succeeded at doing. And then at the end of the night, he choked them out. Like, but the crowd hated that. Like, the crowd was like done. Like,
yeah, because the crowd wanted him to win.
Yeah, of course. But see, that's the thing. That's kind of WWE putting themselves in a wall. Like, me and you talked about this. They backed themselves into a wall when they made this match official. Yes, they did it to themselves. The crowd wanted him to be Universal Champion, and like now you got him in a position where if you don't put the title on him, people can get mad, and they did. Like the image I thought we were going to see at the end of this pay-per-view was Bray Wyatt standing on top of the cell with the Universal Championship in his hand, with the little strobe lights going crazy and the zoom in. Like, that's what I thought we was gonna see. And I was like, that's gonna be a badass image to close the show. And it didn't like turn out that way, but hey, what were you gonna say?
So, one of my favorite things about the whole Fiend and Bray Wyatt story since he's come back is that they haven't over explained stuff. They have assumed that you as the viewer are intelligent enough to decipher the different things in the fun house. They assume that you know what little Easter eggs are in the fun house. And if you don't know, you don't know. The story is what the story is. So when you said what you just said about him showing him the way, and he's never he's never mentioned
directly
the title.
Mentioned, yeah.
That makes me think, well, maybe because Bray's a really creative guy, so maybe that's what the story is supposed to be, because that would make sense. That would make sense from a point of view of what you said, like looking at it as he never mentioned the title. He wanted to show or teach Seth the way, but also it lines up with everything else they've done with this story in that they haven't over-explained every little aspect of the story. They've left you, the viewer, to either work it out, don't work it out, or just think about it, discuss it, talk about it. But they haven't filled in the blanks for you and filled in the gaps. They've let the audience run wild with speculation, as it were.
Yeah, so
what you said makes sense.
I want to jump in here. WWE, they did announce that Seth Rollins was going to take on the Fiend at Survivor Series, but they deleted the tweet. So maybe they are going in that direction. They probably just prematurely announced that match, but maybe that could make that's like remember we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. Maybe they just got stuck in a rut because of the draft, and they just wanted Seth to be the champion going into the draft and leaving the champion out of the leaving as champion out of the draft, and maybe he's going to drop it to the Fiend at Survivor Series. So, but one thing I did want to ask you, what did you think about him bringing out the big mallet?
That was superb. It was awesome.
I
I
say, go
think,
ahead, keep talking. I'm about to turn on the light real quick because it's getting
yeah,
dark.
no. I think it was really cool. I enjoyed it, and it was like a nice callback to, what everyone's seen in the Funhouse and the Funhouse segments. Like that's real cool that they found a way to incorporate something from Funhouse because they brought, you were able to incorporate something which is featured in the Funhouse segments, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mm.
But if you've got a mallet that size, and this is my point with the sledgehammers, which Triple H used to bring in as well, is if you're in a fight and you've got a sledgehammer like that, you ain't gonna hit someone with the wooden bit or put your hand over the end and hit someone like that. You're gonna swing that bad boy and win the fight by swinging the hammer. And I just think that maybe they, by bringing in a sledgehammer or that really cool hammer from the Funhouse, it just takes me out of it a little bit because of the way they use it rather than using it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so they got to a point in the match when Seth threw a bunch of stuff on Bray, threw a ladder on him, chairs on him, emptied out a whole damn toolbox on him, and then smashed him in the head. I think he hit him in over the head with a chair, and then he brought in a sledgehammer and cracked him over the head with the sledgehammer. The referee kept talking to Seth and kept saying, "You don't need to do this." One thing I did really like about that, the ref called him Colby, which is his real name. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that was kind of cool to me. I was like, all right, that was cool. He called him by his real name and tried to get him to stop, saying you don't need to do this. This isn't you. Seth played into it real well. He sold the facials and stuff like that, and then he finally hit him with the sledgehammer, and they called it a no contest, which people initially thought it was a DQ. And it's the second year in a row that the main event of Hell in a Cell ended in a no contest, and people were not happy. They started chanting AEW. They wanted refunds, and the crowd was not happy. And there was a video set. He kind of got into it with a fan who was like taking it. Some people just take it a little bit too far. You
Yeah.
know, he'd say like, "Come on, bro! Like damn well Seth isn't writing the damn
Yeah,
show.
he's just
Like
doing it.
he's doing his job."
So here's the thing: the more that we talk about it now, and the more I've thought about it throughout the day, that I think maybe they were going for that kind of direction where the Fiend doesn't care about the title.
He doesn't,
He's trying to bring out this thing in Seth, which means he did do that
and he didn't
because
lose.
Seth smashed the sledgehammer over his head.
Mm.
So he brought out something in Seth which Seth's never done before. So the Fiend wins, if you get
Yeah,
what it like from that point of view.
and then the thing
But
is, well, like just to add on to what you're saying, and then you continue. When he like the end of it all, he choked Seth out.
yeah,
He choked him out.
so he still won.
Yeah, but see, I think the thing that made it so negative was the crowd. Like literally, when they were doing that cool, shot. When it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it looked like the silhouette of the Fiend. The crowd was just booing, man. Like, and it wasn't as special as how it was at SummerSlam. Because when they did it at SummerSlam, that crowd was going crazy, and that's why it seemed so cool.
The other thing as well, I suppose, is in this day and age, like like me and you, we've let that settle. We've thought about the story. We've thought about it afterwards. We've thought about what were they going for. We've watched it and
Mm.
thought about it. Whereas, like I was pissed off when I first watched it because I was like, oh,
I was
I
too.
knew they were going to
Like,
do it. I
yeah,
knew they were going to do it. And then the more I think about it, I think, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was.
mm-hmm.
Whereas those people in the audience, they're like how pissed we were, but they paid to go there and
Oh yeah,
they're in the crowd and
I
it's
understand
different.
that.
You haven't got the time to let it like
Marinate.
saturate and think
Mm.
about it. Yeah. Um. Overall, I really liked the general booking that they aimed, like what they tried to do, because
Mm.
that is what I wanted from the match. I had said to you, like I wanted Bray to be like super dominant. I wanted him to no sell Seth's big moves to really solidify him as like this big bad monster. Going back to the question that you asked me about, do I think it's damaged the stomp? I don't. And here's why. I don't, because he's beaten everybody with it. He's beaten Brock, he's beaten Roman, he's beaten
Braun.
Dean, he's beaten Braun, he's beaten everyone with the stomp. So what difference does it make if one guy, he can't beat one guy with it? Just
Sure.
one guy.
Sure.
It's only one guy. If everyone starts no selling 25 stomps, then it takes it away from it. But no one has ever done that before to the stomp. No one really. The only match I've seen where it be that kind of one-sided in terms of like aggression is probably the Cena and Brock match. Because it was only towards the end when Seth started piling up the chairs and doing all that stuff. Before that, it was kind of all Bray Wyatt. And I kind of liked that. I just think they should have. I just think if they were going to do the match, they should have put him over. They should have just put the title on him and be.
I agree.
And from what I've read on fairly reputable people writing, Fox want the Fiend. So I did wonder afterwards. I thought, well, maybe they didn't put the Raw title on him because, Fox is paying the big bucks and Fox wants it on SmackDown. So there's that aspect to it as well. I read someone put a thing on the Fightful Facebook group earlier, really interesting kind of theory or like what they said or what they would do. They said that they would have, if you take out what we've discussed about him succeeding in getting Seth to do what he wanted him to do, and that he lost the match, is he should go on like a rampage from throughout Raw today. He should just go around like destroying people. Do the same. He should turn up on NXT and take out someone just like in the middle of a match. The lights go off. Turns out he puts the mandible claw on him. And then he does the same on SmackDown on Friday just to like solidify the fact that he can turn up anywhere, attack anyone, and just try and get a bit of what's the word? Not mystique, but like at the moment, what they've fallen into the trap of what me and you hoped they wouldn't, and that's putting him on every week. Like he's been on Raw every week, I think, since we last spoke, just after Clash of Champions. I'd like to see him used a little bit more sparingly, but also a bit more unpredictably, shall we say. So, like, let's not just have him. I know with the draft it's going to change, but like he doesn't have to come every week. He doesn't have to go just to Raw at the moment or just to SmackDown. Like, let's see do something special. Here's a question. Here's a question for you. All right, what would you do with the Fiend tonight on Raw?
Don't have him appear.
No,
literally that simple. No, don't have him on the show. Like keep him away for a little bit. Like you need they put that tweet up about Seth Rollins going 1-on-1 with the Fiend at Survivor Series. That's the route that you're gonna go. I'm not even gonna put the Fiend on Raw because he's already in Seth Rollins' head. So you're gonna have Seth Rollins do like just these out of character Seth Rollins things, and all that just derives from the Fiend being in his head. And you can have Seth Rollins believe that, well, since he's doing this stuff, then maybe I can beat the Fiend, and then that's when he comes up short because he can't.
Yeah, I like that. It'd be cool.
Like that's just like I don't think the Fiend needs to be on, especially after how but because I know the crowd weren't reacting to him like that last night. They were reacting to the finish. I don't even think they were reacting to Seth Rollins in that way. I think they were reacting to the way the match ended, and they just didn't like that at all. But now, I think there's a window of light right here where you can legit turn Seth Rollins into this just I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want type of dude, and you can just have all that derived from his match with the Fiend. Seth Rollins get it in his head, well, yeah, I'm doing this so I can take down the Fiend now, and he decides to call out the Fiend, and then he just gets punished, and the Fiend becomes Universal Champion or whatever, but
Yeah, and
whatever
I
his
think
goal is.
if you do that as well, what you could do is you could have like when Seth's finished, when he's assaulting, when he's doing whatever, was beating someone up with a chair or whatever, is you have the lights go out, but instead of them, when they go out gradually, don't they? And then the music starts. Is you just have them go out so everyone thinks he's coming, and then they go back on, and you have Seth worried that he's going to come, so he's in his head, but he never does, or not never, but like he doesn't come all the time. So like tonight, the lights go out, they go back on. Seth's looking around for him, but he's not there. So it's kind of
You
like
you
you
you want to know
build into
another
it.
theory that people thought was gonna happen last night? A lot of people thought Liv Morgan was gonna re-debut as like an assistant to the Fiend last night. I would have been real interested to see how that was gonna play out. I had this idea like a you know Liv Morgan like resurfacing like the lights going out or something like that, and instead of the Fiend's laugh, you hear like a converted version of Liv Morgan's laugh, and
Yeah,
you have her show up and help. Well, he don't really need help, but like assist or throw off Seth Rollins a little bit. I was very I know when the people said that when I first saw it, I was like Liv Morgan, and then when I thought about like she's been away, and before she left, she said when she comes back, she's going to be quote unquote real, and I was like maybe that's not a bad idea. I was like, I think like, especially now, seeing as how the reaction to last night, I don't think it would be a bad idea to have the Fiend have like some henchmen or henchwomen. I don't think that's like the worst thing that could happen. And like you can have people take care of his groundwork, and when it comes to that point where it's legit that serious that he needs to show up, he'll show up. And when he shows up, it ain't gonna be nice. So
yeah,
you would rather take the henchmen and henchwomen who you can beat, because when the Fiend shows up and the party time is over, like it's go time, and that's how I honestly wouldn't mind if he got some henchmen or henchwomen. The question is like if you're gonna do that, it has to be people who fit, man. Like it can't just be like like people will say like, oh, Luke Harper and like Eric. No, man, like they're their own people now. Like they already
yeah,
broke away from Bray Wyatt. Like they don't need to be around Bray Wyatt. It needs to be people who you haven't seen that much, like a Liv Morgan, who like you can instantly just flip her just like that because she hasn't really been established. So there's nothing to take away from her if you put her with the Fiend. She's just an assistant to the Fiend. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's loads of they got so many guys and girls on their roster that you could um
Put in that
you could
role.
yeah, you could find loads. I quite like the idea of it's a bit out there and a bit random, but like I quite like the idea of like a Liv Morgan and a Sarah Logan both being so like
Hinge women.
both yeah, why not? And because he doesn't need the help from a physical point of view.
No.
Like he doesn't need like big, huge guys like he had in the Wyatt family. He
And
can
these
just
people
have
do the
like
groundwork. That's it.
yeah. So why not
That's
have
it.
like and they could be they can have their own stuff as well. They can go after tag team titles or whatever, and it could give them a bit of a refresh. But I haven't really thought about it. Like that just kind of come to me just then, so I
Yeah.
haven't thought that through. But one thing I saw today on Facebook as well was some people saying that they think that they basically said similar to what you had said about the story about him wanting to change Seth,
Mm-hmm.
and is that someone like Stephanie or some sort of authority figure comes out to open the show today and says that because it was a Hell in a Cell match, it shouldn't have been called a no contest,
Mm.
um, and they basically book a rematch for tonight, um, and Seth tries to sort of do the same sort of thing, get like a sledgehammer or whatever, but Bray catches it or takes it off him or whatever, and
Right.
then basically they put the title on him tonight, so he can then cut a promo, next week or whatever from the Funhouse and say, you know, I told you I was going to change you. I did. And I took your title. I've taken everything from you. And like that type of direction. And I just think that would annoy people more because people would just think, well, why the hell didn't you do it last night?
Yeah, like see now, like, dude, telling you, just keep him on Raw tonight. He doesn't need to be on Raw. No Firefly Fun House, none of that. Just dude, just keep Bray Wyatt away from like 2 weeks and just have him reemerge after the draft, fresh like like that left a real bad taste in people's mouth last night. And the last thing you want to do is try to force that right back. Like, oh, remember you still like this guy? Like, no, don't do it. Like, don't do it. If I was booking that, I would keep him off Raw this week. I'm keeping him off Raw next week, and I'm gonna have him show up the week. I mean, we'll have him show up after that on the road to Survivor Series. Like, and that's it. Cause you don't want to keep trying to force this dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. My problem is I need my Fiend fix, so I want to see him from a selfish point of view. I want to see it, but yeah, I get what you mean, and I kind of agree, I suppose. But I like watching it, so I want to see him on Raw because otherwise Raw doesn't have the same enjoyment for me when there's no Fiend on there. But I wonder whether they either keep him off or they go really extreme with him and have him do something like a bit crazy or whatever. The one thing I think they shouldn't do is just turn up behind Seth and put the mandible claw on him and just the same thing he's done for like the last couple of weeks, because I think that's a mistake. Because I almost feel like you either do something different or don't do anything. Don't do the same thing again, because I feel like that could get people to turn. But I'm intrigued by the way that you kind of looked at it and the story, because I can see it from that point of view.
Yeah, see, I don't think the Fiend needs to be on Raw or SmackDown or anything for the next couple of weeks. Like, just make people. You gotta make people. Sometimes you gotta make people forget to make a miss. Cause sometimes people don't really know what they have until it's gone. So you gotta make people miss Firefly Funhouse. You gotta make people miss it. Like, you can't, like, don't promote it. Don't put it out on social media. We'll have a new episode of Firefly Funhouse. No, just on a random edition of Raw when it's commercial break or something. Like, not a commercial break, but like when it's a dead spot. Had a Firefly House come up and then have Bray Wyatt address what's next. And what's next with him is the Universal title again. And have him actually say the Universal title this time, because he never said it before. So, And,
okay, then here's a one final question on the Fiend. Then, okay, if let's say that what we discussed and what you came up with about him wanting to change Seth and not being interested in the title that's how it is, would you keep him off Raw for a couple of weeks? Do a Firefly? Would you then do a Firefly Funhouse explaining that he was never interested in the title, he just wanted to change Seth?
Yeah, that's
so then anyone who has
like have him show up on the Firefly Funhouse and just say it was never about the Universal title. It was just bringing out that side of you, and by then Seth would have completely brought out that side of him, and then you can have him say, well, now that you brought that side, let's see what you can do for real. With like now I'm coming after your belt. So now what? And then that's when you have Seth, like I said before, have him think he really can do it in his mind. He can't beat the Fiend.
Yeah.
And he just loses. Like, it's like that. Like, that's just that. But like I think the worst thing that can happen is if you have this dude come on Raw tonight, either in Firefly Funhouse, and even worse in person. Like, cause dude, he's been on Raw like in person for like the past 4 weeks. Like, come on, like that dude, that's overkill, man. Like, it's overkill for this character. Like, you can't keep, like, after a while, the whole screaming noise and the strobe lights like that, it get old quick, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, it get old quick. I don't want to keep saying that every week because it's like it's a special attraction. You don't want to keep saying that every week. Like, Like just how that entrance, like just imagine how you would feel if they did the entrance every week for 4 weeks
Yeah,
straight.
just get bored of it, wouldn't
It
you?
would get boring, man. Like that's why me and you talked about it at the beginning when we first said it. That's why the entrance is so cool because we never see it. We've only seen it twice, and it happened within like what August, September. It happened in a 2 month span. We've seen the entrance twice, and we're probably going to see it at Survivor Series, and that's a whole month away at the end of the month of November at that. So basically 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, man. Just I mean, the only thing I can say about it is what we gonna see what's gonna happen next. Like I ain't got no crazy predictions for you. I just think we gonna see. And if they decide to put a title on the Fiend, if they decide to make this match official as a Survivor Series, Lord have mercy, put the title on this dude. If you don't want him to win the title, don't have him feud with Seth Rollins. Like it's that simple,
yeah,
man. It's that simple. Like that's all I got to say on that, man. That's all I got to say on Hell in a Cell.
absolutely. So tell
AEW
me about
Live.
AEW and live
Yeah, man.
experience.
That was cool. I like the show. It was. I mean, cause live shows are always fun. Like it's, you know how it is. And then I went with a couple friends, so I bound to have a good time. It was a real good show though. And the funny thing is, they kept the. I know they already announced it, but they kept the commentary out for some of the dark matches. And
Yeah,
now
yeah,
they're gonna show the dark matches on YouTube for free, and it's gonna count to the win loss. And I just think that's cool. So.
yeah. It's
And,
something it's unique, isn't it?
and one person who I really wanted to point out, dude, I cannot explain to you how over Luchasaurus is. Like, I don't like. I'm not saying I don't get him, but like, people are like so invested in this character, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, this dude is literally wrestling in a dinosaur match, and people are like going rabid about him. Like, and Luchasaurus, like, he's like, you know how tall this guy is, like how
Big, isn't
big,
he?
like he's a big dude, man. Like, and he athletic as hell. So the AEW show was cool. It was a real fun show. The only thing I ain't like, I'm not a big fan of Mr. Jake Hager.
No
But,
shit.
nah, and I'm pretty sure you know why.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
it's that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's obvious at this point. Because this is the thing. I hate knowing like wrestlers' personal beliefs because it kind of takes
yeah,
me out. Even though I try to my hardest to separate it, but like he's so blunt about it. That's what
yeah,
makes it
yeah. He
hard for
is.
me to like like when he came out. I didn't even get out of my seat because I knew I recognized him from a distance from where I was sitting. I was like, oh well, oh well, hey, it's Jake Hager. But I really didn't care for that. But other than that, it was a real good show. Like just being a fan in general, you always gonna be biased to the live shows, like
Yeah,
because you there in person, so it's
it's
different than
different. It's just a
watching at
different
home.
experience, isn't it?
But what we
Because you
can talk
just
about is Mr. Finn Balor's return and that pop and Tommaso Ciampa. That was
uh,
that
I
was
think
nice.
I think
That
they
was
should have
nice.
saved. They should have
Ciampa
saved Champa.
for next week. I mean,
Yeah,
for this week. Yeah.
I just think like the two in one night was too much, and I also think I thought I watched both on TV, and I
Mhm.
thought the NXT show was better from a like just a viewing point of view. But I
Mhm.
really enjoyed the AEW as well.
Yeah,
But I
both
think
was
the
fun, man.
one problem with with what I think NXT is doing a little bit is they're worrying a bit too much about what AEW are doing.
They were
So
about
they're
competition
yeah, instead
instead
of
of just
just
doing
putting on a
what.
good show, like
Mm,
because they've loaded up that show with
I kind of get that
unbelievable
vibe too.
matches.
Like it felt like a lot of people said this. I think I even saw you tweet this. It felt like they built it up like a takeover card. Like
Yeah.
what it
And then
was.
what happens this week when it's not a takeover card? Your ratings are just going to go down again because
Mhm.
it's not going to be as good as the week before because you loaded it up so much. Don't get me wrong, Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole was
Oh yeah, that,
awesome.
that, that was a real good match. And then
Really.
the thing about like what AEW is doing right now is like I don't think they're competing with NXT as much as
No.
NXT is competing with them. Because like when you look at it, like next week, AEW is going to be in Philly, and they announced months ago that in Philly the world title was going to be on the line and the women's title is going to be on the line. So
Yeah.
like you already expecting that next week, and like that works out perfectly while I'm watching both shows because I was at AEW live last week. So this week I'm gonna watch NXT and then watch AEW after, and then next week watch AEW live with the
Yeah,
world
that's what
title
I do.
match, and yeah, just watch one week, just like carry it like that. But like I kind of get that vibe too that NXT is competing with AEW. AEW is like, yeah, well, like AEW is competing too, but like I feel like
Yeah.
NXT is like
The thing is, AEW
trying.
are trying to get them, like, they're launching, aren't they? So they're
Mm,
more concerned with getting everything going and getting stories going and setting up their titles and all the different stuff that you've got to do when you start a promotion.
mm.
Whereas I think NXT is kind of worrying about that, and I feel like if they just focused on like, if you took AEW out of there and they just decided they're going live.
Just be NXT, like how you
Yeah,
were for the past whatever years. Just be NXT, which has been
because
great.
everyone loves NXT. NXT is great,
Everybody.
and like I really wanted them to go to 2 hours because I want to see guys like Punishment Martinez and Pete Dunne
Oh boy,
featured weekly.
I
So
cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that. That's gonna be
it's gonna
crazy.
be awesome, bro.
That's gonna be crazy.
Right, it's getting a bit late here now because I just done 2 podcasts back to back.
All right,
What are you
but
looking forward to the most this week?
uh, this week I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing NXT and AEW, of course. That's gonna be real good. Um, I'm looking forward to NWA Power.
Yeah.
That that's gonna be real nice. I can't wait to see that. So, um, and now we should. Should we do predictions for King of Pro Wrestling next Monday?
Yeah, go on then.
All right,
Have you got
so
the matches?
yeah, I got the matches up. Uh, that I'm trying to look at it and like most of them are just like the generic, the 6-man tags that
Yeah,
I mean. But the special matches we got Liger versus Suzuki. That's gonna be a good because Liger.
Suzuki's got to win that, I mean.
Nah, you think so? Because Liger's doing the
Retirement tour, though, isn't he?
Liger's doing the Kishin Liger now. Like
Oh, is he? Yeah,
yeah,
see, I'm behind, I am.
he's
Yeah.
he's doing the old version of Liger. Well, not the old version, but the
Okay.
evil
No,
version.
I changed my selection then.
Yeah. Okay, so next we got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. We got Will Ospreay defending against El Phantasmo. I think Will Ospreay retains, of
Yeah.
course. But see, the crazy thing is, Will Ospreay said during a recent interview, he said that he kind of felt like NJPW was like throwing the weight of the junior heavyweight division on his back because none of the other junior heavyweights are stepping up. Like he feels like he's lit. I mean, it's kind of true. Like he ain't lying.
Yeah.
He just feels like he's carrying the division, and that's what it is. And oh yeah, I do want to ask you, what are you sad about young shooter Umino going on an excursion and he won't be with John Moxley anymore? Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Shooter, he got
Sucks.
promoted, so he's going to the UK and he probably won't be in New Japan for a while. So
Yeah.
that partnership is done, man.
I loved that. It was
Yeah,
so cool.
so yeah,
I'm
John
disappointed.
Moxley, he's defending the title, his IWGP US Heavyweight title against Juice Robinson, a no EQ match. I think Juice gets the title back because John Moxley
Yeah.
doing AEW TV every week, and I don't think he's gonna be able to commit to that's nah.
Yeah, I think John Moxley will drop the title now, and then we won't see him in New Japan probably until the Wrestle
Wrestle
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
So,
Yeah.
because
Okay, let me ask you this. So last week, Sports Illustrated reported that Chris Jericho versus Hiroshi Tanahashi is set for Wrestle Kingdom, and Tony Khan got asked about it at the post DC Media Scrum, and he didn't deny it, but he didn't agree and say
yeah,
that was true. So what I think is that could possibly build a bridge between NJPW and AEW, but NJPW is still working with Ring of Honor. So you never know what could happen. But I think that if Chris Jericho is going to compete at Wrestle Kingdom, that might open the door for other talents to compete at Wrestle Kingdom. Because John Moxley did say, he said 100% that he's going to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom. He said that there's nothing that's going to get in the way of that. And like he is for sure going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. So that's going to be cool.
I think big problem obviously is Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor, if they lose that partnership with
Oh boy,
New Japan, they're in trouble. Real
And
trouble.
then they just I don't know how that affects their partnership with CMLL because Roosh just won the world title, and I
Shit.
think I don't think I don't think they like that, or CMLL
No.
didn't like that, or for
No.
him and Dragon Lee, that. So that I guess I guess we're gonna see, but that seemed like that's a damaged relationship right there. And
Yeah.
the NWA just separated from Ring of Honor to start their own thing. So man, if Ring of Honor loses that partnership with New Japan and they can't do like have Lij on the ROH tours, and they don't do the Honor Rising shows anymore in Japan, like Ring of Honor's looking bad. And then they
But
couldn't even sell out Sam's Town. And Sam's Town's like what, I don't even think that's 800 people that could fit in, and that's like
that's
200.
tiny, yeah.
It's like
Jesus.
it's a small venue. Like it's like probably 150 people max, and they couldn't sell that out. They had to give away tickets. Like,
Man. That's sad.
man,
That is because like not even 2 years ago, Ring of Honor was so hot.
definitely. But I think that's also a credit to like the Young Bucks and Kenny and
Yeah.
Cody,
Adam
like
Cole.
Adam, exactly. Like, and then another thing, I know a lot of people were like, they sold out MSG. I mean, when they first
Nah,
announced that show,
everyone thought the
hey,
Elite was gonna be there.
exactly. No, like there was no mention of the AEW. Like nobody, I think All Out was already coming, but they didn't. You know,
Yeah, they
they
didn't
did.
know.
Yeah, they didn't know. But just to keep going, so we don't keep going on time. Kota Ibushi is putting his IWGP Heavyweight Championship contract against Evil. I think Coda's gonna win.
Yeah, he's
Coda's gonna win
not gonna lose that, is he?
because he okay. So and then we got Okada defending the IWGP Heavyweight title against Sonata. I'm tired of seeing this match. I'm tired of seeing it. This happens too much. Okada
Yeah, of
retains, but
course he does.
what I do want to ask you is they're doing the back to back Tokyo Dome shows this year, next year. So a lot of people have been saying the way they might go is somebody wins the IWGP Intercontinental title the first night, somebody wins the IWGP Heavyweight title the first night, they clash. Second night, take all. So what I think is, I think at the end of all that, it's either gonna be Kota Ibushi or Tetsuya Naito holding both belts. Because I definitely think Kota's gonna win IWGP Heavyweight title
Yeah,
against the Kingdom.
I think Kota Ibushi is definitely gonna win the heavyweight title, 100%. I'd be amazed if he doesn't. Him versus
Okada.
and then him versus Naito the next night would just be incredible. So good. What a weekend. But
Oh
yeah.
boy, it's a lot of wrestling, man. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
wrestling. So the next time I'll be on is what's that, Survivor Series,
A
or we are
series or Crown Jewel if you want to do Crown Jewel.
no next time. Well, yeah, the next time gonna be Crown Jewel, and then shall we do a Full Gear? Cause I'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'll do that. Yeah.
All right, yeah, we can do that. All right.
Sweet. Tell the people where they can find you on Twitter.
They can find me at AD Thompson, and you can check out my interviews and all that good stuff, and I'll be dropping the interview tomorrow. So, boom.
Yeah. Check
Yeah.
it out. You can see all our shows video, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation, Twitter at AceCast_Nation, and Facebook.com/AceCast Nation. Thank you for joining me, mate. Appreciate your time. Sweet. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. And Andrew, it's always a pleasure, bro.
That was a good talk. I didn't even realize 2 hours flew by that quick.
Yeah.
That was good.
Good time. See you guys.